if I'm going to have a horse that I'm going to ride on the trail, and the horse has a tendency to spook, I'm going to have this horse conditioned so that I can trot him around, and from the trot, reach down and pull his head around. Okay, this horse is broke, but even he's kind of struggling against it, you know, with forward motion. I want to have him conditioned so that no matter what, when I reach down, I can take that head right away. Good. So that time he didn't struggle. Now, if I was going to go on a trail ride, I would remind him of this before I went out on the trail ride. Okay? Once I've got this, him giving his head to my hands, I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable that I can control my horse. The other thing, watch my left leg here. When I press with my foot, he moves off that leg. If I turn my toe out and press with this spur, he moves off of it. I want him to have respect for my legs so that if he sees something way off in the distance and he starts to spook, I can control his face with my hands, and I can control his body with my legs. If I'm riding along and my horse sees a deer way off, you know, ahead of us, and boy, his head goes up and he starts getting antsy, and I know something bad's going to happen, first thing I'm going to do is get his mind on me and off whatever it is that he's spooking at, okay? Which means I'm going to trot circles. If there's room right there, I'm going to go trot in circles. I'm going to pull him around, trot some more circles. I'm going to pull him around some more. Whatever it takes to get his mind off of whatever it is he's spooking at and get it on me, okay? Number one, I establish that I'm still in control, and number two, he kind of forgets about it. Now, if I've got control and he starts calming down, I might point him at whatever it is that's spooking him and let him rest while he's looking at that. Now, the one thing that you're not going to be able to prevent is the sudden spook. You're on the trail, something jumps out of the bushes, you know, a pheasant jumps out of the bushes, scares the bejesus out of your horse. I mean, there really isn't much you can do to prevent that. But once he does spook and take off, first thing you want to do, reach down, take his head. Reach down, take his head. And it's important that when you reach down to take his head, you stay seated on the cheeks of your butt. Most people, when the horse spooks, it scares them too. And when the rider's scared, they usually kind of go into the fetal position. You know, their feet come back and they kind of go up on the horse's neck. Well, it's so easy to fall off, you know, in that position. So you need to practice that muscle memory. And I tell you what, the more you practice getting control of your horse, the less you have to fear about your horse spooking. Stay on your butt. A lot of people will pull that rein. Your power comes if your horse spooks and you got to take his head, the power comes from your elbow coming back and your forearm being in line with the horse's mouth. What a lot of folks do is they have their arm straight and they bring it down here and they fall forward as they do this. Well, you really don't have any power that way, and you also lose your balance. So the body position is on your butt, reach down to grab the rein, elbow comes back, and your shoulders come back to anchor your butt in that saddle. Reach down, take it, elbows come back. He takes off to spook right here, right here. And if he panics, you know, if you take his head and he tries to rip the rein out of your hand and stiffen up, pitch him the slack and take him again. Pitch him the slack, take him again. Sometimes holding the rein steady will invite them to fight you. But if you pull, release, pull, release, pull, release, pull, release, you can get control of him. And that works good on a lot of horses, that strong pull, release, and it's got to come 1, 2, 3, okay? All right. Now, let's talk about a couple other things that you can do. Some horses are what I call habitual spookers. they have kind of like a spooking phobia. Now, the only way that I know of to get a horse over a phobia is to make that phobia really, really uncomfortable, okay? So if I've got a horse that's a habitual spooker and I got him broke, he starts spooking. Let's say the camera, let's say he's spooking at the camera. And we've all had horses that do this. He sees the camera, you're riding around, and he knows it's there. He's seen it a jillion times, but he's still spooking from it. Well, they'll turn away to leave. What I'll do is I'll get tough right here, bump, 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 and then face him to it and pitch him the slack and pet him. He spooks the other way, tries to leave. I make this uncomfortable. Boom, 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 boom. I bump him enough so that it bothers him and then brings him back to the camera, make that comfortable, okay? Same thing with your feet. We've all had horses. You know, have you ever been riding in an arena and a horse sees something in the corner of the arena and he just refuses to go over there? Well, if he's not listening to your legs, you need to get him listening to your legs. And if that means using spurs, you use spurs, okay? And you let him know, same thing, if the corner of the arena is over there and I'm bumping him with my foot and he won't go that direction because he's afraid to, and he's been in the arena a bunch of times, he knows that's not gonna get him, I'm gonna get aggressive with my spur and my leg, and I'm gonna thump him and say, you get up there. And pretty soon, when you make them listen to you, they finally just go, you know, this spooking stuff, it's just not worth it. And a lot of them will give it up. You know, I tell you the truth, I've got a horse in training right now, scared to death of one side of the arena. And for the first month, he's a young horse, he's real green, so I really couldn't get after him much. But after I kind of got him broke, I'd kick his butt. If he wouldn't go to that side of the arena, I'd get after him and make him go. And after a couple weeks of that, he finally just went, he's gonna make me go, I might as well just give it up, okay? All right, so those are some tips to help you with your horses that spook. Again, practice, taking that horse's head away. Practice right before you go on the trail, and hopefully that'll help you stay out of trouble.